There we go. Yeah, like I was saying, you guys have to get ready planning, because if January 1st comes and you go, okay, what am I going to do for my first quarter now? It's already too late. So you guys should be doing the prep work from now. Like I was talking last week with your business planning, you have to sit there and think about what you want to do for the new year, what your goals are for the 2022, and set what you want to do each quarter, right? So I have to rejig my sheets. I'm going to send them out with you guys. You can use them. We'll have a session on goal setting. But in the meantime, we're going to continue on objection handling. We've done a lot for like the listing appointment and stuff like that. I found a few good articles I wanted to go over a bit. It's never a hard thing to go over objection handling again and again, even if you think you've heard it before, because you have to be ready with responses for your clients right away. When they throw up an objection, you have to know what to say to them right away to get around it and over that objection to get them closed at the end of the day, without turning your client off as well. You know, you don't want to be that pushy, aggressive person. You want to know how to handle the objection properly, right? Oops, let me just put my phone on silent there. All right. So this article was really good. I read through it a bit and I thought, it's got some good points in it that maybe I haven't covered in the past time when I've done some objection handling. I'm always trying to add new content to my training, even though I know we repeat subjects over the year because maybe some people haven't caught it or we need to go over it again. I like to try and add some new content every now and then so you guys can like get some new things. But if you didn't do the objection handling before, I'm going to go over a lot of it as well. Again, so the goal with objection handling is getting your client to make a decision, right? So whether you're sitting at a listing appointment or you're working with your buyer, when you're handling their objection and you're handling it well and not being pushy or aggressive, what you're helping is to get over that question that they have. They're not going to turn around and buy a house at the end of the day without having questions. It's a natural thing, right? So when they throw up those objections, you want to sit there, you want to answer them back, you want to give them good content back so they can make a decision in their head, say, okay, yeah, I'd like to proceed with this transaction, right? This is the goal when you talk about objection handling. It's not about combating your client and learning how to knock them down, right? So you have to learn to navigate through the conversation, basically. You have to overcome that objection, right? So it says here, when handling objections and managing tough conversations, the last thing anyone wants to feel is like they're being attacked. So you have to learn how to do it suave so you're not attacking your client. You're not a battering ram beating at the castle gates. To keep your clients from getting defensive and offer you the opportunity to persuade, take the approach of an active listener. Make your pitch and offer your services, but let your lead talk and voice their objections. Recognize their resistance as a valid point and then dive into the underlying reasons for what they're saying. So you're trying to put their minds at ease, basically, by whatever objection they're putting up. So we have some common objections here that this article goes over. So very common one, I've gone over it before in objection handling, is I don't need your service. My friend or relative is an agent, right? So a lot of people know someone in real estate, right? What you say to them is, that's great to hear. Are you comfortable with sharing all your personal information with your friend? As you know, in the home buying or selling process, all of your financial data is front and center. I know I wouldn't want my friend knowing that much about me. Are you sure you want your friend knowing your financial business? So this is a little bit different from what we've seen before. Sorry, I'm just going to get my mouse highlighted here. A little bit different what we've seen before. It's a different approach. I'm not a fan of this exact approach, but like I say, everybody has different styles. You have to go read through scripts and dialogues, read through the content that we give you. And like I say, don't use it verbatim. You have to learn how to throw it back at your client in your own style, right? I don't necessarily want to say about financial stuff. What I usually say to them is, do you want to do your friend or family a favor, or do you want to get the best price for your home, right? Try to find out a little more. Very often that aunt or cousin or person they know is doing real estate part-time, which is fine. But if you're a full-time agent, you can use that to your advantage to handle the objection. You can say, this is my full-time job. I'm really good at negotiating. I can get you top dollar. If you have sales in the neighborhood, you can push that towards them and say, I've sold a lot in the neighborhood. Can I give you a second opinion? Right? Would you be open to a second opinion and see how I can handle it, as well as, if your cousin or aunt, whoever's the real estate agent, right? So this is one we haven't handled before when we've done objection handling. And I like this one because you do come across it a lot. I'm okay right now. I'm renting a nice place that I like, right? This is a golden opportunity to show them a financial opportunity in owning. We all know the rental market's crazy right now as well. people are paying really, really high rents, right? They can be paying, you know, $28,000, $3,000 I see. And I often say to my clients, if you can afford this amount in rent, why aren't you owning your own property? I always say the only way, the only person getting rich in renting is the landlord. You're paying their mortgage at the end of the day. So why pay someone else's mortgage when you can pay yours? Build your equity and get more house for less monthly. I have rental clients I'm actually working with right now, so I won't name them. They're a little bit difficult because I try to explain to them over and over again, and I've worked with them quite a while. And I do this with all my renters. I try to say to them, your time in the market is what matters the most, right? That's the way that I handle the objection. I say, you might not be able to get, you want a 2-bedroom. Well, you can't afford that 2-bedroom right now. Get the 1 or the 1+1. Stay in the market for a year or two, and you'll be surprised at how you'll plummet forward when you're banking your equity, you're gaining the appreciation in the property, right? And your market value. Next year, you're going to sell for more for sure. So definitely, why pay someone else's mortgage when you can pay yours? Any money you're putting in your pocket, your time in the market is matters the most. That's what's going to make you move faster in the market and get to what you really want at the end of the day, whether it's that detached home or that 2-bedroom, right? I'm a couple years out from buying. So again, I get told this quite often from my clients. I have first-time home buyers or young people saving, and they say, oh no, you know, we're going to save because we want to buy XYZ. Again, I use the time in the market. But just out of curiosity, they say, what is the significance of that date? If we could get you approved for a loan, get you in a house today, and show you how to save thousands, would it be of interest to you? So this is where it's important to have a good roster of people working around you. You want to be able to say to your clients, hey, you know, let me walk you through the process. You might be surprised at what you can do right now with your income and how much you have saved. I think we can get you something decent in the market. Do you want one of my mortgage contacts to call you to get you pre-approved for that mortgage? A lot of times if they just don't think it's within their reach right now. So if you somehow help them, and a lot of them say, well, no, I really don't think I can. I say, well, you know, why don't you just talk to one of my mortgage agents now anyways, because maybe they could point you in the right direction. Over the course of the next year or so, you can work with them. They're going to tell you what you need to do, how much you need to save, how you need to fix your credit a little bit. And then within the 6 months to a year, you can turn around and buy a house then. So it's a good way to get over for people who are kind of stalling a little bit, I think, right? This is my first time buying a home. I'm a little nervous. This is a huge understatement. It is a big, scary task to buy a property. Like I say, I think there was like a top 5 list I had read once. You know, I'm going to have to find it because I'm probably misquoting it a little bit, but it was a top 5 list of, you know, the things people fear the most, right? And buying a house was like second on the list, second to like death or something like that. Like it was just, it's hard to put your mind around. I mean, because we do this for on a daily basis as our business. You guys have to realize that when people are purchasing it, it's the largest transaction they're going to make in their entire life. So it's definitely something scary. You have to be able to be the calm force during the transaction. You have to be able to walk them through it and you know, answer all their questions, like we say, their objection, handle their objections and make them feel at ease about the whole process, right? So I'm just going to read the blurb here. Did you know that real estate has outperformed the stock market in the past 3 years? The wealthiest people in the world own real estate. So remember that, right? Time in the market. It's just the past year, home prices have gone up over 3%. That means if you bought a house today for $300K, and 1 year you would have over $9K in equity. So this is an older article, but still, it's just giving you an idea. We all know this year those numbers were astronomical, right? We had clients who were buying last year. Well, I had a client who bought last year in September, who turned around and sold the house for almost $400,000 more in March, right? Your people are making this big chunks of money because of their time in the market, right? Imagine if they waited, they would be paying so much more now. All right, I hear this objection a lot. My credit is bad, so I'm just daydreaming right now. We do have those clients who have poor credit, our rental clients and our purchase clients. It's a great opportunity to offer financial advice to them. So like I said, it's a great to daydream, and I encourage you to continue looking on our site. Have you talked with a credit repair company? Many times they can make a couple of tweaks that bump your score dramatically. Can I share your name with blank a credit repair. So I don't have a credit repair person per se, but I do have a lot of mortgage agents who are versed at directing clients on how to, make their credit better. Like, definitely if they can look at their credit score and definitely tell them, if you pay this off and this off, your beacon score is going to jump up real high. Or if you consistently pay this for the next 6 months, then I'll definitely be able to get you a mortgage. Or if you pay off this bad debt, it'll make your credit jump. They're used to looking at those credit scores all day long and knowing what'll fix it. So like I say, it all comes back. Your strength is in your roster and your people that you're surrounding yourself with your good mortgage brokers, your lawyers, your home inspectors, all these people that you're using. You need to be able to help your clients and direct them. So in this case, I always have those few mortgage agents where I'd say to my client, hey, you know what? I know a really good person you can chat with. They'll tell you how to fix your credit in the next 6 months to a year. And then I'm sure you'll be fine, right? I'm just looking on behalf of a friend or family member. Okay. So a lot of times you get these looky-loos, people calling you on your listing, stuff like that. Let them know you could be an extension of help. That's great that you're looking out for your family. It shows you want the best for them. Fortunately for you, you came to our website. We are ranked the top 1 of agents in the country. If you'd like, I can reach out to your family and friend and send them some helpful information that can save them thousands on purchasing a new home and why it's so important to pick the right buyer's agent. So I have a lot of people who just click on my inbox. They say, oh no, I was looking for, I have a person in my office who's looking. I have a friend who's looking. Definitely try to get those people's information. I know a lot of people say, no, you know what? I'll pass on your information to my friend who's looking. You'll never get a call back, right? You definitely want to try to get those people's information. You want to say, hey, can I collect the number? Can I collect their name, their email, anything you can get, any kind of information you can get to reach out to those people, and you have a better chance of hooking up with them. I have an agent already. So we're not supposed to harass people who have an agent already. So you have to make sure that they have something in place. Like, do they have a buyer's agreement? I usually poke and prod a little. When somebody says, I have an agent already, I say, oh, have you signed a BRA with them? Have you signed a buyer's agreement with them? Well, no, but they've been sending me emails, right? If they haven't committed to somebody, it's still an opportunity for you to go. You just have to be very careful in this realm where you're not actually interrupting somebody who has a signed BRA, right? So this is great. You have an agent. Can you share their name so I can send them the properties you've been looking at? You can offer this. Like a lot of times they'll say that they really don't have an agent. It's just their kind of way to get you off the phone and not have you poke and into getting more information from them. If they give you a name, fantastic. That's great. Then at least they have an agent and you're not stepping on anybody's toes. You can back off, especially if they have a BRA signed. You can't go forward with that, right? I'm just looking right now. This is another objection. A lot of people say they're just looking right now. I'm sure you guys, if you worked long enough in the business, you come across those clients who say, you know what, I'm just looking right now. And then you turn around and you try to call them a couple of weeks from now and they say, hey, guess what? I bought something last week. And you're going, what? I thought you were just looking, right? Just looking is definitely an interested person, but people just kind of say that passively because they don't want to feel pressured from the agent, right? So I generally take this objection of people and I say, oh, no problem. I'm no pressure. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take your email and send you things, set you up in my system. You can call and ask me questions if you have about the properties that I'm sending you. But I know you're just looking right now. So you feel free to reach out to me if you like any of these properties. But I still want to keep my name in contact with that person. And I want to encourage them that if they see anything that they actually are interested in, they're going to reach out to me. So very often I say, if you see something in your neighborhood that goes up and sells and you want to know how much it sold for, if you're driving by, if you happen to go to an open house or something on the weekend, you saw something, for sale sign go up, call me anytime, text me, feel free. I don't mind checking out the prices and what I think it'll sell for you. I want to encourage them to reach out to me and not the listing agent. That's how I'm going to capture more of those buyers, right? I'm not sure, but I never registered on your website. I guess, I don't know if you guys have a lot of the capture information on your website. Honestly, this is why I haven't built a website recently. Tell me if you guys are doing anything different where it's getting you more success. I had a capture on my website. I found a lot of the leads that were coming in were just people who were like, oh, I didn't even realize I signed in or I signed up on your website, or I don't know. It wasn't working the way I wanted to. So I don't know really how to get over that objection. I had a lot of trouble calling back those cold calls and getting over that objection for sure. You've been contacting me way too much. So you have to be careful, like I said, not to be too aggressive with your clients. Like I was saying in the beginning, you don't want to keep on calling and calling them. People don't want to feel harassed or pressured, right? So giving a lead the 10 days of pain can be brutal and annoying. Again, acknowledge their issues and offer a reason and solution. So let me apologize. We're in a very fast-paced market right now, and I want to make sure that you don't miss out on any deals. How often would you like to be updated, right? I have a lot of trial and error happening with my buyers over the last year and a half. I find that even though the buyers know the market's crazy right now, they'll tell you, they'll go, the market's crazy, isn't it? Oh, the prices are really high. They don't realize that they have to capture things very quickly. So me calling my client saying, hey, something just came up. It's not even on realtor.ca. Let's go see it now. They say, oh, I don't really have time now. Let's go see it on Saturday. And I say to them, okay, not a problem. I inform them. I don't push them. I say to them, if you don't go see that property today, it's most likely going to be sold by tomorrow or the day after. It says they're open to taking preemptive offers, right? And they go, what's that? But it says the bid date's not till next week. I said, yeah, but lots of things are going before the bid date. So if you really like it and you want the opportunity to see it, you definitely want to get in and see it sooner than that, right? But it's hard, pressing on with people who feel too pressured, right? So you just have to sort of passively put that in their way and hope that you can close them that way. And then I'm busy right now. I'll call you back. So try to get a small commitment here. People generally are busy. Sometimes you've called them at a bad time. Sometimes I call clients, I can hear the baby crying in the background, or they're in the middle of cooking. So you can say, I understand if I could just ask you 4 quick questions, I have you off the phone in less than 2 minutes. Would that work? They're walking away with a no thanks, say. Anyways, you want to ask them 4 quick questions in less than 2 minutes. So if they don't have time for 2 minutes, you definitely want to book a time to call them back. You want to say, hey, can I call you tomorrow? Or can I call you on Thursday at 2 p.m. Would that work? Or are you busy in the next couple hours? Can I call you back? You want to find a good time to call them back. Some people are just too busy, right? Anyways, I like that article because I had a few extras that I wanted to go over quickly that we hadn't gone over before. I like to go over our core objections, though, that we get very often, especially for listing appointments to try to close them. I think that, we're going to go into the spring market strong. Last year, I found January and February kind of were they didn't slow down. I don't know if everybody else experiences it as well. Usually we have that spring market boost, then we kind of kill it for the summer a little bit. Then we have the fall market boost, which we're kind of finishing off right now. And then, it goes dead again until the spring. Last year, January and February, March, were fairly busy, busiest that I can remember in my 15 years of working. So I don't know if we're going to have that ebb and flow, but basically what I focus on is trying to close these objections with our clients so we can get listings, because spring tends to be the listing market. I don't know about any of you, but most of my listings come around that time between like March and June, right? That's when I have most of my listings. So we're going to go over some objections right now. Does anybody have any questions so far? I'm just going to go over here and open my document here that I want to do. What's the biggest objection you guys would normally come across? Is there anything that you guys aren't sure how to handle? Or something that you get over and over again as an objection? No, you guys are closing all your appointments perfectly? All right. I'm going to come back here and share the screen because I know you guys lose it every time I switch my screen. There we go. All right, so common objections. There's 40 of them here. We're going to try to get through as many as we can, or at least go over the important ones for the next 20 minutes, half hour or so. So if I list my home with you and buy my next home, will you cut your commission? I can appreciate that. And I want to be upfront with you and say, no, I will not cut my commission. And for one very simple reason. As a professional, my time has a certain value, and I only work with people like you that realize the value of my service. And before saying anything, think about this. If an agent is willing to cut his or her commission just like that, how well do you think they would hold up when it comes to negotiating the best possible price for your home? So I have my own critiques about this particular objection. So first of all, I never say no. This is a Tom Ferry script, or Mike Ferry script, sorry. I never say no to my clients. I always go by, repeat with your client saying, hi, okay, you think I will cut my commission? Sure. I'd love to talk to you about that. So I don't want to say no. I want to say, yes, yes, no problem. I'd like to talk to you about, because psychologically, when people hear yes, they're thinking you are agreeing with them, even though what I'm about to say is technically no. So I say, oh, you want me to cut my commission? Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to talk to you about that. And then I continue on with this point. The point being, hey, I always say, if the last agent or the two other agents previous to me that you just interviewed were willing to cut their commission, they can't even fight for the value of themselves. How do you expect them to fight for the value of your property, right? You want somebody who's going to push that value of your property up. We're talking about, basic $1 million for, detached bungalow in Scarborough. You want someone to defend $1 million when they can't even defend their own worth, right? They're cutting their commission right from the beginning. So do you want to use the person who can't negotiate for their own worth, or you want to use the person who can negotiate for the price of your house, right? You got to put it in perspective for them to say, I'm a tough negotiator. I'm sitting here negotiating for you myself. But you also want to bring your whole CMA and show them that it's just value. It's not just you're paying me more than the other guy because I'm a tough cookie and I won't say, yes to 1% commission. You want to tell them, hey, I'm doing your professional photos and I'm a good negotiator and I'm, doing your virtual tour right now. I always tell people that online presence is so important right now with COVID. So it's definitely something to push all the things you're going to do to market their property, but it's definitely a point that hits home. If everybody else is just cutting, no problem. What makes you think they're going to fight for the value of your home, right? So I have to keep my promise to the agent from which I originally bought the home. That's great. I can appreciate your loyalty, and that is a quality that I respect in people. So I'm curious. Let me ask you this. Has there ever been a time when you decided to buy something or do something and a friend said, hey, no problem, when you need help, I can do it. And in the end, because you didn't check around, you really didn't get what you wanted. Have you ever been there before? So again, it kind of goes back to the one that the article covers. I tend to use the same thing like I was saying before, where I was saying, that's great. You have a friend or family in the business. You can do them a favor, or you can use me, or you can get a second opinion from me. And I'd love to come and show you my strengths and how I can market the property better. I've seen this marketing plan from many different agents. What makes you different? So this is where I think it's so important. I know I've gone over the CMA before. You guys have to have your CMA ready and to say what you're going to do different for the client, right? I have my things that I say when I go for a listing appointment of how I do things differently, because I know I'm not a passive agent. I know when I have a listing up, I'm constantly thinking about it and stressing about it. I'm making cold calls in the neighborhood. I might even door knock if the weather, is nice around my listing. Putting some flyers out, just listed, just sold. So I always tell my clients that I'm definitely being very active when you're listing. I'm not just throwing it up on Stratus, I'm trying to push it on social media, pushing it in my office at office meetings, talking about it. You definitely want to tell them how you be different from the other agents. So have your listing plan of action ready when you're doing your appointments, and you can say to them, this is exactly how I would be different from the other agent. All right, this is a good one, and I've gotten this lots of listing appointments before. Why is your price so much lower than the other agents that we've talked to? I mean, they have comps that show higher prices than yours. The first thing I always say to the clients is I never lie. I always tell the truth, right? So sometimes these agents want to come in and they want to promise you the world. They get the listing and then you don't get the price. For me, what I'm doing is I'm giving you a baseline. I believe, and I've done my market research. And again, if you come with the booklet, your CMA already, and you've done all your research, you can show them, look, I've done the research for your neighborhood, and all these houses are selling for this much. I'm showing you in my CMA. If I give you this good baseline and you get more, you'd be pleasantly surprised, but I'm not going to promise you something that I don't think is attainable, right? I want you to be informed what's happening in your area. Right? I sell my home when the values go up. I like Mike Ferry's style. It says you can't overcome this condition. I overcome this condition all the time. I say, why do you want to sell your home when the value goes up? Oh, because, I want to sell my home for a lot more. Well, if you're turning around and you're purchasing something, aren't you going to purchase it for a lot more? I always tell my clients, it doesn't matter what market you sell in. You sell high, you buy high. You sell low, you buy low. Right? In my mind, it doesn't make a difference. The only time it is a huge difference that you can't really overcome, and then I wouldn't even advise you to do it, is when you have those investor clients. So if you have investor clients who have flipped and all of a sudden the market's dropped a bit, I would tell them to hold maybe until the spring market, till it goes up. Or if somebody's looking to just cash out and, you know, they're moving, an elderly person moving in with their children, maybe they're not going to get max value right now. These are the few instances where I wouldn't tell my clients this, because they're not turning around and purchasing something. They're looking to cash out. They're looking to maximize what they're getting out of the property of the sale, right? So I tell them, you know, you sell high, you buy high, you sell low, you buy low at the end of the day. How much advertising will you do? Because I want a lot of advertising. So again, I think this objection handling goes a lot part and parcel with your CMA. If you prepared your CMA properly and you let them know your listing plan of action, it should include your marketing plan for, you know, advertising, whether it be social media or print, and you can go over that with them. I like this one. I've been told this before when people, like, especially by family, you find family will give you this objection. You're too busy. You have so many listings and we want someone that can give us the attention we deserve, right? You say, I appreciate that. And you probably haven't had a chance to think about the advantage I have over my fellow agents in town. You see, the more listings I have, the more signs I have on the street. The more signs I have on the street, the more calls I get from buyers. And of course, most of those buyers don't buy the house they call about, and many of them will be very interested in our house. So as you see here, what you're doing is you're telling them, look, I have so much more exposure. I have more signs in the street. Yes, I have a lot of listings, but I'm getting lots of calls from buyers, lots of calls from my print advertising, lots of calls from, you know, my social media marketing. And I definitely have more exposure. And all these people are calling me and I only have that one house or two houses on your street to buy. I definitely want to give them more options, and I would love to bring them into your listing as well. And I can help you do that, right? I want to find a house before I put mine on the market. Okay, so this is an age-old debate, and every agent has a different opinion. I'm not saying mine's right or somebody else's is wrong, but I kind of want to ask you guys, what do you guys feel? Do you like to list first or buy first for your client? What do you guys feel safe for doing at the end of the day? Anybody? What do you feel? Do you feel more comfortable if you sell your client's house first or if they buy something first?
Buy first, obviously.
Yeah? Okay, why?
Which one is better?
No, it's an opinion. I don't think anybody's right or wrong.
I do want to buy first because I can sell it easy.
Yeah?
I mean, if you sell it, and if you don't buy it, it's market. What can happen? They have to go to the hotel and.
It's true. See, there's sides to every story, right? So I totally understand that. I always feel comfortable listing first. I tell you why, because I know how much money they have in hand. I know the closing date I have to work with. And whenever I sell first, I always put a minimum 60-day close on, because then I know I have enough time to look with them to buy something, right? But every agent feels different, back and forth, what they like to do, whether they like to buy first or sell first for their clients, right? So it all depends on preference at the end of the day. A lot of people say like this, I want to find a house before I put mine on the market, right? If they purchase, what do you do if you can't sell their house or they're not getting the price they expected? Especially if they're leveling up on a house. Say they've got a condo or a townhouse and now they've bought like $1.2 million property and they don't get what they want for their condo, and like they've purchased first.
Normally we shouldn't tell this one. And you can lose the chance also to listing. Sometimes they change their mind.
It's true. You should be keeping in touch with your clients, so you shouldn't lose the listing if you're their buyer agent. Yeah. But if they buy first, what happens then if they don't?
No, they don't have a plan. They don't have money. They don't write. Yeah.
They don't have money. You're not working with them. You know, you fire those clients.
They don't have money by wasting my time.
Some people have the house assets, but they have money, but it's not in the hand. Because you say sell it first. By 60 days.
They have a they have a deposit money, $50. And work on it and give a deposit. And
all right.
How many
each way there's risk.
Yeah,
Sorry, you were saying.
How many months the money sitting in the bank for down payment? 3 months?
3 usually bank wants to see, yeah.
So what? And then the selling house, that's not a problem. So
no, it's not a problem because you have an agreement, a purchase and sale in hand, and the bank sees that and they know where the funds are coming from, right?
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
So what happens if we gift me, say to friend, I gift him, that doesn't work?
But you can't gift friend to friend. So the bank only takes like close, like mother, son, you know, I think even cousins kind of getting iffy because you can almost say almost anybody's your cousin, right? But yeah. Also, I think it has to be close friend with gift letter from the bank, right?
Cousin also okay. Good.
I don't know. I'm not sure. You know, I guess it's different bank to bank or like mortgage broker to mortgage broker.
Things, you know, even like who have money, okay, borrow, pay, that's our problem.
I know. I don't know why they're so picky about it. Even if I don't know you that well, if you want to gift it to me, what's the big deal? I don't know why they're so picky on that kind of thing, but yeah, definitely. So
for the black money.
Yeah, I guess so. You know what I mean? Or is some coming from somewhere and I'm just pretending like you're gifting it to me? I don't know. Yeah. But yeah, so when you handle this objection, a lot of times when you go over this objection and the scripts and dialogues, they say that you should sell before you buy. And that's a general opinion. I usually feel safer doing that. The only time I don't feel safer doing that, so I'm doing, right now I'm currently working with somebody who wants to purchase before they sell. And I can totally understand because they're looking for very specific product in a very small pocket neighborhood. And that doesn't come up that often. I think in the last 3 or 4 months, I've shown them 3 things that have come up and, you know, they didn't want to buy any of them yet. So that's the only reason, but they say, because, you know, basically at the end of the day, what closing you're working with, how much money you have in hand. And they just say it's a safer way to work. But I know this is a debate that goes back and forth every time I cover this objection. People are like, oh no, like Cynthia was saying, oh yeah, no, we got to buy first. So it all depends on your guys' preference, what you're comfortable doing, right? Or like Bhaskaran says, maybe you won't get the listing at the end of the day if you buy. I don't know if you guys ever get this, especially if you're, this is not only but a price range things. You don't handle homes in our price range, but what if you're a new agent, right? How do you overcome that when you're in the listing appointment and people say to you, you don't handle this kind of home, or how many homes have you sold in this neighborhood? I keep on telling you guys over and over again, use the strength of your brokerage. You know, we're like 130 strong now. You go in and look in that area, see what we've sold, see what we bought in that area, and show them, look, we're very active. I just went for a listing appointment last night. I didn't, and you know, it's not like I don't have listings, but I used listings that were sold in this office, not by me, because we had a very impressive one that was both sold and bought by our brokerage. And I thought, oh, what a great thing, comparable for me to bring for my listing appointment. It shows the strength of our brokerage, right? And I showed the client, I said, look, I said, we're very active in your area. This listing was not only listed, but it was purchased by our agents. And I said, you know, the same thing, we're 130 strong and we're right in the neighborhood and we can get your listing sold for sure. You know what I mean? For a high price, I said, because look what we did for this property. So even if you don't have any clout in the area or you don't have any history of sales, definitely you can turn around and look into the broker history. I keep on showing how to do it over and over again. Actually, you know, I'm going to stop the share here real quick and I'm going to just go into the system to show you how you go and do that. Let me just make sure I'm still logged in. All right, still logged in. Okay, so let me come here and share again so everybody online can see. The way you do that, because a lot of people don't realize that you can go online and do this. 1 second, I'm just trying to get my mouse here. I always have 17 windows open with Zoom and the share screens and everything else going on. So you go to your regular search, right? But before you start your search, what you're going to go do is predefined, okay? And you're going to scroll down a couple and it says my brokerage history here, okay? Now say I want to go see what's unavailable because I'm going to a listing appointment in, I don't know, Toronto. Oh, let's see what we've done. EO8. Okay, so we have 61, right? And I'll submit and see what we've got here. Hopefully somewhere this year. Let's see here. Sold date, I'm going to sort. Oopsie. Clicking on different things here, but as you can see here, this will tell us what we've done in that EO8 area recently, right? Oh, I don't know why I keep on clicking my screen there. And you can go through this. You can say, hey, you know what? We just sold this 56 bathroom for 275, sorry. Or we just sold one Basildon for 1.125. Look at this. You can use the almighty we. I will say we if it's not my listing, because we as a brokerage works, right? And you guys can sit there and use that for your listing appointments and help close that objection, especially when people are saying, hey, do you sell in this area? Like, what have you done in this area, or what have you done in this price range? And they're concerned about your clout in the neighborhood. I know a lot of people say to me, hey, you know, I was going to use this agent, this popular agent in the area. And, you know, this helps me a lot, because I say, oh, how many signs did you see in the neighborhood that, you know, I brought you a bunch of things that we sold in the neighborhood as well. Right. So let me go stop sharing back. Anybody have any questions so far? How's everybody doing there? I'm sure you guys come across a lot of these objections. You guys are so quiet online. You guys have to speak up a little bit. I'm gonna cut Zoom meetings in the new year. I think I want to see some faces in the office, because I like to interact more, because I want to hear your guys' stories and objections that you have to get over. Because sometimes, you know, I just go over the same paper objections, but maybe you specifically have something that we can troubleshoot, right? And a lot of times we tell our stories back and forth, and that helps us out a lot too. Because like I always say, I've tried to do it a lot, but it's not working with Zoom. I'm going to do it again when everybody's in the office training. I like everybody to tell me what their wins are for the week and what their fails are for the week, because the fails are the most important things. That's what we need, is to handle the objections that you've had that week. What are your fails? Why did you not land that listing? Why did your buyer not buy with you? Why did you not win that bidding war? You have to learn how to overcome those things. And the only reason is if you guys speak up and let me know, and we can go over them and figure it out and sort of troubleshoot it for you guys, right? All right, I think we have time for a couple more. Let me just change this screen here. I've got 50 screens in my way here. All right. I need this net amount in order to move. I have to be at my new job in 90 days, but I can't afford to buy a new home if I take a loss. So I can appreciate the position you're in. Many people in our area are in the same position, and you know, I'm curious, has there ever been a time when you knew you were going to have to make a sacrifice? I mean, you knew it was going to be tough in the end. After analyzing all of your options, you realize that there is only one thing to do. Put your head down, grit your teeth, and go for it. But you find in the end, it all worked out. You made it through tough times, and life went on even better than before. Have you ever been there before? So this is like, again, a Mike Ferry script. I'm telling you, I'm not a fan. If for any of you who've missed the Rob Vivian, I'm going to try and get an email together of all the Rob Vivian links, and maybe send one email with all 8 weeks now out to the office so you guys can read it. He's definitely more my verbiage that I use. If people say to me, I need to net this amount in order to move, definitely to handle that objection, I'm going to crunch the numbers with them and put them at ease. You know, how much do you have in your mortgage? How much is owing, in your mortgage? What's the purchase price you want? How much do you have saved? You know, how much you're making, and kind of crunch the numbers just loosely with them to see where they're going to be. If someone says to me, I have to be at my job in 90 days, they're definitely going to be put at the top of my prospect list. They're at my leads. They're a hot lead. And, you know, my hot leads are anybody buying in the next 1, 2, 3 months. So you definitely want to work harder and closer with these people to come over this objection. Because a lot of them don't know how to crunch that number in their head and figure out how much they're going to come out of pocket. They like it when you calculate, okay, this is how much the commission is. I always say, okay, I'm doing mine for, you know, if you give them a discount, 2%, and the other people you're paying for 2.5, HST on both of those is this much, minus this off of what you're owing from your mortgage, you'll end up with this much in pocket at the end of the day. When they see those numbers, they feel more at ease, because they're unsure and they can't calculate that, right? If I have to sell at that price, then I will sell it myself. So this is, again, kind of like a FSBO thing. And you say, I can appreciate your frustration with the market. And I was wondering, what specifically causes you to believe that you can sell the home for yourself, especially when less than, I think it's like 1%, less than 1% of the homes listed for sale with a real estate without real estate agents are selling? I don't know, but I can't afford to sell at that price. A lot of FSBOs will turn around to you and say, you know what, if you bring me a buyer, I'll pay you 3% or 3.5%. And I say to them, you know, you're taking the biggest transaction of your life and you're paying another agent to govern the buyer and go over that paperwork. And you're not paying to govern yourself in the transaction. I don't know how that makes sense. For a simple, now this is someone I might offer 1% or 1.5 to, especially when there's really crunching the numbers and they want it for sale by owner. I would say to them, you know, if you just put an additional 0.5 on there, what you're offering me, I will govern you, and I will push this out on Stratus. So I'm pushing it out to more of the masses. I'm not just putting it up on Kijiji or wherever you're advertising as a for sale by owner. The more people you push to, the more people you get through your door, the more it pushes up your price. So this is how you push up your price at the end of the day too. So for 0.5%, you're getting a maximum price, and you have somebody governing you in the transaction, because there's a lot of legalese in our clauses. You need to know the tricky things to look out in the transaction, and you need to know how to negotiate those things as well, right? So you want to be able to tell your client, hey, for just, a few dollars more, it doesn't cost that much to govern yourself. All right, that's the 3% one. We don't want to list at a price that will get it sold in 1 week. I don't know why somebody would say that objection, honestly. I often tell a lot of people right now, that's the one good thing about the market. Okay, if you're a buyer right now, it sucks because you're fighting and all these bidding wars. But if you're a seller right now, it's the most fantastic time to sell your house, because what was it before? We couldn't really give them a timeline. Even right now, when I checked the Treb Market Watch for, what are we in November, October, it was still 19 days on market was the average. What's pulling that average? People who aren't doing bidding wars, people who have listed the incorrect price, people who are sitting on the market. What about that one that was more true? Right? When the bidding war is such a prominent thing. If you put your house up on the market, you didn't know for the next month when you were going to get a showing, when people were coming through the door, you constantly kind of have to be on. So I always tell people it's a fantastic time to be a seller right now, because I know that you probably won't be on the market for more than 7 days. So suck it up, put the staging in your home, act like you don't live in your house for 1 week, and it'll all be over and done with. We can kind of give our sellers a good timeline now to show them that, it's the heartache of, going through a sale, which it really is. It's hard to keep your house show ready if you're living in it constantly, especially these families with kids and dogs and whatnot. It's hard to keep it show ready. I go, but the pain will only last a week. And, hey, if you get a preemptive, maybe even less, right? So it's a good time to be a seller, good time to get over that objection with our clients, right? We can always come down in price later. Okay, I think this is the last one I'll go over. So you ever have those clients that say to you, I say, okay, I think the most we can get for your property is $850. And they go, great, let's list it $950. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. I gave you the comparables, and I think that the most we can get is $850. Oh, we can try it, and we can always come down in price later. I always say to people, especially now in this market, it would never work. But in our usual market, we say, you got to be very careful that you don't go stale, because when people see listings up for a long time, especially now, we think if something's on sale, 20 days on market, for instance, ooh, maybe we can get a good price because they probably had a bid date and it didn't work, or they weren't getting the price they wanted. Maybe now we can hose them and negotiate them a little bit, right? Because I think, oh, wow, 20 days is a lot. If you tell your clients this, maybe they kind of understand a little bit more. I always say that first boost of energy when you first list on the market is when you get the most exposure and the most excitement about that home. So you don't want to kill that momentum. If your client is really pushing for it, I never walk out with a listing. I always say to them, okay, literally you get 1 week. And if we're not getting the showings or the offers like I'm expecting, then we have to talk again and bring that price down. But I always try and avoid this. And I always try to overcome this objection by telling them how important it is. That first moment you go live, you know how it is. The first few days you put that listing up, you're getting buzzed with all the showing appointments and stuff like that. You don't want to kill that momentum by mispricing the property and using the wrong pricing strategy, especially in today's market, right? People definitely wonder if you bid on more than a week, and a week isn't a long time, but that's just the way it is now. So everyone doing well. There's so many more objections to go over. I think next week I'm going to try and do goal setting because I really want to get everybody writing down their goals for 2022 and getting excited about what we're going to do in the new year. I know I'm super excited. I've got my own personal goals. But like I said, we have to start thinking of it from now. We got to make our first quarter really strong so we can do very, very well in 2022. Everybody's got to double, triple their production, right? So it'll be good for all of us. Good morning. All right, everybody. Yeah, it's still morning. All right, everybody. It was nice seeing you. Hopefully not so much online in the new year. I'd like everybody to come in. It'd be so nice to have everybody in the office. But thank you for joining this morning. Have a good week.
Thank you.